Good morning, all of you. I am Pradeep sir, from Harrow Public School. So let's start today the cockroach that wrote music. Today onwards we will start the lessons online due to some difficulties in the nation, not in the nation, but in the world also. The whole world is attacked by Corona, so that the school takes a good step for online study, and so that we will start the online study today from today onwards also. Let's start about the standard 7 spotlight. We'll start the standard 7 uh, of the English chapter, English subject, that is the spotlight English. And the first chapter of this book is the cockroach that wrote music. The cockroach that wrote music. How it is possible? Yes, it is possible. The cockroach had completed the homework, and it is the cockroach assisted a boy to complete his homework. So the writer wrote it, gave the name, the title of the writer gave the name that the cockroach that wrote music. Let's start the chapter. This chapter, Cockroach that wrote music, is written by a famous writer, well-known writer, Trevor Todd. Trevor Todd is an Australian writer. He had written many stories, poems, and also novels. Also, he had written many novels in his life. Also, that means especially he had written many stories for children. Right? This chapter, the cockroach that wrote music, is a very interesting chapter. And let's start the chapter. You are going to read an extract from the cockroach that wrote a symphony. That means this chapter, which we are now going to start, is derived from the cockroach that wrote a symphony, written by Trevor Todd. It is about a young boy who is a student of music. It is about a young boy, Benjai, who is just like you, and he has to write a musical piece as homework. He had given a musical homework by his teacher, Miss Bell, right? And let us start the how he was rescued and how he was assisted by a cockroach, an insect, right? Let's start. First of all, stupid homework. Benjai tore the paper and crossed it. He took out a fresh piece of paper, music homework. What in which? That means when he was not able to do the homework, he was not able to do it successfully, he got bored. And he said that stupid homework, Benjai, the little boy. And he dipped he dipped the pen in a bottle of a special black ink, and prepared to start again. He again started to prepare. Too much ink, it formed a shining black bulb, and due to too much ink, it formed a shining black ball, rolled along the nib, and plopped on the new page. Benjai frowned. Benjai also irritated, and Miss Bell was sure to notice that Benjai thought that this bulb, this black bulb could be marked by Miss Bell, his teacher, and was sure to notice that. And never mind. Now, one of these curly things are the start of the 5 lines. That means he had to draw 5 lines first, 5 curved lines. That means curly things at the start. At the start. Should it curl around the bottom line, or the second from bottom line, second from bottom, then right? So that there were some clues was instructed by his teacher to do how to do his homework. So from bottom, that means he is should it curl around the bottom line, or second from bottom line, second from bottom, right? That means he was also instructed by his teacher. Then Benjai thought of his friends at the beach when, as he started at his homework. It is seemed more boring than ever. That means Benjai felt something bored, and he thought about his friends. Benjai jumped. There was when he was thought when he was thinking about his friends at that time, there was an insect, the cockroach are there, and Benjai jumped. There was a quick scoring movement across the top of his desk. Something small and black darted under the took music book. He lifted it carefully. Oh, Benjai hated cockroach. All the guys, all the tiny boys and girls, all the children hate cockroach, and so that also Benjai, the cockroach had run through the bulb of ink on his homework. Uh, Spindly trails were left across the page. When the cockroach when the cockroach ran through the bulb, there were some spindly trails were left across the page. Ruined. That means Benja thought that ruined the paper. The cockroach, the insect ruined the paper. He would have to start again now. Then he thought that I have to start it again now. Again now. He lifted the book higher, ready to crush it down on the pesky, dirty insect. That means he thought to kill the cockroach. He lifted his book to crush the dirty insect because he was very disgusted. The cockroach did not move. When he lifted the book, the cockroach didn't move. It sat there, twitching its leg, twitching its long splendor, feelers, ink particles stuck to its hairy legs. Benjai hesitated. He moved his his feelers and also hairy legs, and Benjai also hesitated. The homework, along with cockroach trails. There were dots on the lines. And Benjai could not remember getting that far. So surely he had only done the collie things at the start. 3 flats, a bar. That means he had to draw 3 flats, a bar line, B, D, D, and F. That he thought it's an impossible work. No. Then he watched again. His eyes bigger than the saucer. And he watched again with the book still held in the air. Till now he had kept the book on the air to crush the cockroach. The cockroach walked on the bulb of ink, gathered a small drop in its front leg, walked carefully over the homework page, and placed the ink neatly between the line. That means Benjai marked that the cockroach drew the line correctly according to the homework. A mouthed Benjai, suddenly remembering the book and placing it gently on the carpet. He placed the book gently on the carpet. He did not kill the cockroach. He knelt down, his face close to the desktop. The cockroach worked. He knelt down and he kept his face close to cockroach and marked carefully about the work of the cockroach. Got my point, students? It's okay. Then, so that I must have eaten too many peanut butter sandwiches when I got home from school. That means he remembered, he murmured that I have eaten too many food items. Food. That means peanut butter sandwiches when I got home from school. Benjai rubbed his eyes. Because he did not believe. He could not believe about the work of the cockroach. So cockroach had finished the first line. Evidently pleased with himself, he stepped back to survey his work. Cockroach finished his first line and surveyed his work also. Benjai could not move. There it was, a disgusting, dirty, creepy, crawly insect. That means Benjai could not believe himself that such a work can be done by a creepy, dirty, crawly insect. It had written a line of music, and completely he marked that it was the homework was completed by this insect. Would Benjai be sure that he was dreaming? That means Benjai was not sure till that he was dreaming or he was observing the real fact. Got my point? So that cockroach moved towards the blob of ink. Again, when the ink was finished from the leg of the cockroach again moved towards the blob of ink. His front legs busily tried to gather another droplet, and his front leg also gathered some another droplet. But by now the ink had soaked into the paper. The ink was soaked by the paper. He scampered. He scampered. He moved quickly to collect more backward and forward over the homework page. But there were no more split drops of ink left to use. But there was no ink also, no ink drops to use. Finally, he sat back with his head raised and moved his feelers questioningly. That means he sat and questioned to Benjai, where is the ink? That means his activities showed like this. Then Benjai gently lifted the pen, dipped it into the bottle ink pot, and placed it upside down on the homework page. Immediately cockroach ran towards the nib and sat about gathering a droplet. Without even a thank you, he walked towards the second line and continued the work. That means when he got the ink, he started his second line and he started his work 1 second also. Got my point? Benja got up and walked into the kitchen, wondering if he was in some sort of strange movie. Benjai thought that he was watching the movie, and he quickly entered to the kitchen and collected some food items. He picked a piece of fruit cake and broke out a corner of a biscuit. Then he went to the dryer where the matches were kept and emptied a full box into a corner of it, and he collected a matchbox also. Right? When he returned, cockroach had almost used up the ink from the nib, and when he returned, he saw that cockroach had already used the ink which was on the stock on the nib. Benjai placed cake crumbs on one corner of the homework page and biscuit crumbs on the other. He kept the food items in different corners also of the homework page. The empty matchbox was lowered onto the desk. Lowered onto the desk. Yes, after all, the heavy work cockroach was ready for a snack. That means that for an insect, this work was really, it was a heavy work for an insect, and completing the homework he needed some snacks. That means he required some snacks. That means he was eager to take some snacks. He inspected the cake and then the biscuit, and after a few seconds of a feeler twitching, decided to take on the cake. That means after some few seconds, cockroach decided to take the cake, not the biscuit. Got my point? There were various types of foods, the cake, biscuits like that. That means so the cockroach choose the cake, the soft one, right? Got my point? Do you like the cake? Yes, obviously. So that the empty matchbox was treated with suspicion at first. As soon as cockroach climbed into it, the cardboard moved slightly. As soon as the cockroach climbed on the matchbox, the cardboard moved slightly, and that sent cockroach scurrying to the corner from where he nervously regarded as his new home. That means, and also he was in the matchbox. Benjai wondered if he should have lined the matchbox with a piece of tissue. Bravely, cockroach moved forward again and climbed right into the new home. That means again the bravely cockroach moved forward again and climbed right into his new home. After a few inspection turns, he appeared to be satisfied, and he also got satisfied in the new home. in his new home and settled down with an afternoon nap. So that Benjai sank back on his bed. Benjai took rest and thought about the cockroach on his bed. Out a sigh, out a sigh. Oh, oh Ram. Ah, that means some sorts of sound comes from the human being mouth when he satisfied or when he completed a great work and when he astonished also. Right? These are the it is called the interrogative mark signs also. So that there is now there is there it was cockroach music, a bit untidy but nevertheless original cockroach creation. It was it was the creation. It is created by an insect, the cockroach. The next thing was to show the musical piece of mum, so that Benjai was sure she would be pleased with the amazing music cockroach had written. That means Benjai was sure that his mother obviously support his son, and she will admit also that some sorts of such type of homework, this homework was done by an insect cockroach, right? This is all about the chapter the cockroach. This is all about the chapter the cockroach that wrote music, right? It is written by Trevor Todd, an Australian author, right? Okay guys, thank you.